What actually happens when data travels step by step? You send a message, you open a website, you turn on Wi-Fi, and it just works. It feels instant, like there's nothing between you pressing a button and something happening on the other side. But it isn't instant. There's a fraction of a second, sometimes a few, where something is happening, something layered, something structured, something you never see. And the thing is, we use it every day. We rely on it completely. But most of us, myself included, for a long time, have no real picture what's actually going on. So today I want to go through it, not in a technical way, not trying to prepare you for an exam, just what actually happens, from the moment you press send to the moment something comes back, step by step. Let's start at the beginning, with you, with your device. Say you're sending a message or loading a page. It doesn't matter which, the process is similar. The first thing that happens is that your device takes whatever you're sending, your text, your request, your click, and it prepares it. But here's the thing that surprised me when I first understood it. Your message doesn't travel as one thing. It gets broken up into small pieces. We call them packets. Think of it like this. Imagine you had to mail a large painting. You wouldn't stuff it into one envelope. You'd carefully cut it into sections, number each piece, put each one in its own envelope, and send them separately. That's essentially what your device does with data. It takes whatever you're sending, divides it into those small packets, and each packet gets labeled. It gets information about where it came from, where it's going, and what number it is in the sequence. Why? Because smaller pieces are easy to move. They can travel through different paths. If one gets lost, only that piece needs to be resent, not everything. So step one is already more interesting than it looks. Your device isn't just sending a message, it's preparing a structured set of labeled pieces, each one ready to travel. Step 2, local network, Wi-Fi router. Now those packets leave your device, but where do they go first? They go to your router. If you're on Wi-Fi, they travel wirelessly, through radio waves, to the router sitting in your home or office. If you're on a cable, they travel through the wire directly. But either way, the first stop is the router. And here's a useful way to think about it. Your home network is small and controlled. It's like a little world that you manage. Your phone, your laptop, your TV, they all exist in this private space. Your router is the gatekeeper of that space. Now, your device has what's called an IP address. Think of it as a home address, a number that identifies your device on the network, so that when data comes back, it knows where to go. Your router also has its own address, a public one. That's how the outside world will eventually find its way back to you. So when those packets leave your device, your router looks at them and says, "These need to go out. I'll pass them on." The router doesn't necessarily know the full path ahead. It just knows the next step. And that's actually a really important idea. We'll come back to it. For now, your packets have left your device, passed through your router, and they're about to enter something much larger. Step 3, your ISP. The next stop is your ISP, your internet service provider. That's the company you pay for your internet, the one whose name appears on your bill every month. Your router passes your packets to them, and this is a moment where something changes. Up until now, your data has been moving through a private space, your home network, a space that belongs to you, in a sense controlled, familiar. But now it's leaving that space. Your ISP connects your home to much larger infrastructure, a network of cables, servers, and equipment, some of it underground, some of it underwater, some of it in buildings you'd never notice if you walked past them. And there's something worth sitting with for a moment. From this point, your data is no longer just yours. I don't mean that in a dramatic way. I just mean it's now traveling through systems managed by other companies, other organizations, passing through hardware you've never seen. Your ISP handles that first handoff. They receive your packets and forward them further, toward wherever they need to go. They're like a courier service. You hand your envelopes to them and they take it from there. Step 4, the internet, routing. Now we get to the part that I find most interesting, the internet. And I want to be careful here, because there's a mental image a lot of people have, including the one I had, that the internet is kind of like a highway, a fixed road between 2 points. It's not. It's more like a constantly shifting web of paths, thousands of them, maybe more. Your packets travel across the internet by passing through routers, not your home router, but a large, powerful router, maintained by network providers around the world. Each one looks at the packet, checks where it's going, and decides what's the best next hop from here. And that decision happens at every single step. So your packets might not all take the same path. Packet 1 might go through a route in one city. Packet 4 might go through a completely different city. Packet 7 might take a path that was faster at that exact millisecond because some other part of the network was congested. There's no single road. It's a system that constantly adapts. If one path is slow or broken, packets go around it automatically without anyone deciding. The system just finds another way. And this is actually by design. The internet was built to be resilient, to keep working even if parts of it fail. So while you're waiting for a page to load, your packets are racing across this network, sometimes across continents, each one finding its own way to the same destination. Step 5, the destination server. Eventually, your packets arrive. They reach a server, a computer, or a cluster of computers, sitting somewhere in the world, whose job it is to respond to requests like yours. When you open a website, that website lives on a server. When you send a message, it arrives at the server before reaching the other person. The server is a destination. And here where something satisfying happens. Remember those packets, all those separate labeled pieces. They arrive at the server, possibly out of order, possibly from different paths, and the server reassembles them. It looks at the labels, it puts the pieces back in the right sequence, and now it has your complete request. Then it processes it. If you asked for a web page, it gathers the files for that page. If you send a message, it stores it and prepares to deliver it. Whatever you ask for, the server now figures out what to send back, what to experience as one thing, a page loading, a message arriving as many pieces, traveling separately, arriving individually, reassembled into a whole. There's something almost elegant about that, once you see it. Step 6, the response comes back. Now the server sends something back to you. And here's the thing, this process is not simple on the way back. It's the same process in reverse. The server takes its response, the web page, the confirmation, the data, and it breaks it into packets, labels them, sends them out. Those packets travel back through the internet, again through multiple routers, again finding their own paths, again arriving possibly out of order. Your router receives them, passes them to your device reassembles them, and then something appears on your screen. The whole thing, both directions, happens in a fraction of a second. And this is what I want to sit with before we close. Step 7, what you don't see. We just walked through 7 steps, step by step, slowly, deliberately. In real life, that entire process, both directions can take under 100 milliseconds, sometimes less. Think about that for a moment. Your device prepares and labels data, sends it wirelessly to a router. The router passes it to an ISP. The ISP hands it to a global network. Routers across the world each make independent decisions about where to send each packet. The packet arrives at the server on the other side of the planet. The server reassembles them, processes the request, and sends back a response, again in packets which travel back across the same global system, arrive at your router, reach your device, get reassembled, and appear on screen. All of that before you finish the thought. Is it loading? And none of it is visible. None of it requires you to understand it. The system just works quietly beneath everything. There are engineers whose entire careers are dedicated to making each of those steps a little faster, a little more reliable, a little more resilient. And when we click a button and something appears, we never think about any of it. Closing. So, what actually happens when data travels? It gets broken into pieces. It passes through your router. It leaves your home network. It crosses the internet through a web of routers that each make small independent decisions. It arrives at the server that puts it back together and responds. And the response travels back the same way. It feels simple from the outside, one action, one result. But underneath, it's layered, structured, distributed, and surprisingly resilient. I think there's something valuable in just knowing that, not because you need to configure any of it, but because the thing we use every day without thinking, they're worth understanding, even a little, even a little. If you want to go through this more slowly, step by step at your own pace, I've written it out in a structured way. It follows the same flow as this video, but in a format you can read, pause, and return to whenever you want. No pressure, it's just there if it's useful. Thanks for watching.